Listen, there's been a point in all of our lives in which we mumbled the words, "This job is slowly killing me." And although this may sound a bit overdramatic, new research suggests that this may actually be the case. Yeah. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
It's more cowbell.
Oh, I mean vacation. More vacation. Tell your boss it's science. Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and longevity and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic way. Today, we are talking about how you were potentially right. Your job may be killing you. Not only figuratively, like killing your soul, but literally too. In a slow but surely manner way, which manifests under the radar because its components have been so ingrained in our modern society, helping facilitate the very habits which bring out the worst in our biological wiring, and thus, us. But as you're about to see, there may be a way to not only mitigate your risk, but make every workday feel like a vacation, at least on the inside. So first, we're going to take a look at this new data and see what health and longevity vibe boosting secrets this vacation thing wields. Then talk about how the modern day work environment can be a straight up liability on our health. And as always, bring it home, highlighting how not only to mitigate your risk, but also bring those good vacation vibes to the biological table every single damn day. I mean, there's no better mode than vacation mode, right? So let's kick off the party with this very interesting new data which just hit the longevity streets. This study out of the University of South Australia sought to see if people were more or less healthy when they went on vacation. And I gotta say, I was surprised by some of the results. Researchers used data from the annual Rhythms for Adults Lifestyle and Health study, where 308 adults wore fitness trackers 24/7 for 13 months. During this time, minute-by-minute movement behavior data was aggregated into daily totals, which were then used to compare movement behaviors during and post-vacation to pre-vacation levels, examining the associations between vacation type and duration. The different lifestyle habits that they tracked were moderate to vigorous physical activity, light physical activity, sedentary behavior, and sleep. Some interesting data points if you ask me. So, what'd they find? Well, that vacations were not only fun, but also cool for longevity school. On vacation, participants were shown to engage in 13% more moderate to vigorous physical activity, equating to an extra 5 minutes a day, be 5% less sedentary, being active an extra 29 minutes per day, and sleeping 4% more, or 21 extra minutes a night. Now, you may be thinking, these kinda sound like small numbers. However, they are anything but that when compounded over time, having the potential to drive a whole hell of a lot of health. And get this, when participants returned from vacation, all of the aforementioned improvements reverted back to baseline or even overcorrected for a period of 1 to 4 weeks. For example, on the first week back from vacation, sedentary behavior elevated above baseline, while light physical activity dipped below baseline. Now, this data is really interesting. However, it often comes with the curse of leaving us with more questions at the end than at the beginning. But hey, I guess that's sort of a compliment in the scientific world, right? I bring this up because data on the individual's metabolic health and dietary habits were largely absent, with the only information provided being that most of the participants classified as obese. And when I read through this, the main question that pops into my head is how many of the aforementioned health benefits are canceled out by all the common overindulgences of vacation, such as an energy-dense, nutrient-scarce way of eating and the leisure consumption of alcohol. I would dubiously speculate that this is a reality for a fair proportion of the population, but that's an investigation for another day. For now, let's turn our attention to the why and how, aka why is vacation or holiday a potential longevity prescription, and how can you start living like you're on vacation when in reality, you are not. Let's break it down. First, we start with the killer combination of habits which often accompany the 9 to 5. And when I say killer, I don't mean, that was killer, dude! We're actually talking the opposite end of the spectrum. These are often chronic components of modern work culture which chip away at our cellular and metabolic health for decades. Kinda like a form of slow torture. They include deprived sleep, excess stress, sedentary behavior, a nature deficit, and an increased odds, likelihood, and probability of poorer eating habits, aka a diet abundant in energy-dense, nutrient-scarce, ultra-processed foods, or the modern Western diet. Now, due to the vast variation of jobs and priorities in one's life, this list may not be relevant in its entirety. However, there is probably something here that is actively working against your cellular and metabolic vibe, as only a small percentage of the modern workforce likely have a stress management protocol, prioritize high-quality circadian-aligned sleep, exercise regularly, spend more than 15% of their day outside, and consume a real whole food diet all at the same time. Meaning, we all have some potential room for improvement. And all of these habits tend to compound on each other in both a good and bad way, reminding us that just as good habits compound over time like interest in the longevity bank, bad ones do too. And the latter tends to, unfortunately, be the base case for the majority of the population. So, with all that, I think it's in our best interest to all act like we're on vacation just a little bit more. Here's how you can do just that. We start with the bedrock in which all the other foundational components of health and longevity are built upon: high quality circadian aligned sleep. And it's the bedrock for a reason. Because when deprived, basically all the other biological systems throughout the body become less efficient at best and dysfunctional at worst. Chronically deprived sleep, typically classified for adults as consistently getting less than 7 hours of sleep per night, a category in which many of the adults in the modern workforce fit into, has been shown to impair cognitive function, increase feelings of anxiety and depression, decrease immune function, impair metabolic function, throw hormones like cortisol, which modulate stress, all out of whack, and be associated with pretty much all the major diseases we modern humans face, including cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes, and neurodegeneration. Yep, totally not rad. So building good sleep hygiene habits which have you not only getting 7+ hours of sleep per night, but also maximizing quality is a mandatory investment to achieve this outcome. And one we talk all about on the fully loaded How to Sleep playlist. This video is a great place to start, highlighting topics such as optimal bed and wake time, morning circadian alignment, caffeine strategies, meal timing, exercise, blue light, and the all-important wind down routine before bed. And by tweaking your habits in these areas, you may even find yourself waking up on Mondays feeling so refreshed you can't believe you're not on vacation. Yeah, it's possible. But, as you know, it don't just happen. You gotta make it happen. And while you're at it, might as well play the stress-free vacation card too, right? I mean, nothing compares to that not a care in the world feeling we have on vacation. And it most definitely has a health boosting effect, as chronic stress, aka the low dose arousal of the fight or flight nervous system, has been identified as a potent nefarious actor, like deprived sleep having widespread negative effects, from impairing sleep, ironic, isn't it, to accelerating disease states like hypertension, obesity, and cancer, all while driving serious emotional distress, making it officially not cool for longevity school. Thus, to channel the vacation namaste we all desire, building a stress management protocol which includes good circadian aligned sleep, consistent exercise, healthy eating, nasal breathing, a form of mindfulness such as meditation or journaling, identifying your triggers, and deploying the art of perspective are surefire ways to put you in a relaxing vacation vibe, all days of the year. I like to think of it as putting yourself in a harder physiological and biochemical position to become stressed. Biohacking stress, something we talk about in this video and many others on the channel. Speaking of biohacking the 9 to 5 stress of the work week, the best proactive way to do this may very well be through badonkadonking, aka going from on your butt to moving your butt, as a high percentage of jobs today have individuals sedentary for long periods of time. And that don't bode well for organisms who were literally built to be ultra active. Yeah, you. Thus, moving when you are not on vacation is one of the best ways to trick your body into thinking that it is on vacation some random Tuesday in April. And guess what happens when you do that badonkadonking? Your cells secrete bioactive compounds which boost mood, relieve pain, heighten focus, prime learning, and reduce inflammation. So yeah, sounds like a pretty damn good vacation to me. Speaking of sounds, there may be no better representation of a good vacation than the sounds from being outside. Because often our real holidays consist of some nature, sunlight, and fresh air. And if you don't think that plays a biological role in feeling good, you, my friend, would be mistaken. It is estimated that we spend nearly 90% of our lives indoors, shielded from the environment and elements that we've evolved in for hundreds of thousands of years as modern humans and millions of years as primates. The environment we have deep biological ties to. The environment we need to be at our biological best. So incorporating more outside time into your daily schedule must not be underestimated, as nearly every study looking into nature's effects on our mood has shown an anxiety, stress, and depression reducing effect. And time spent outdoors is even associated with a higher functioning brain structure, as we cover here. Pretty wild, right? Like Donnie from Wild Thornberrys. Wild. For reference, if you spend less than 2.5 hours outside per day, that means you're spending 90% of your day indoors. So starting your day with things such as morning light, setting break reminders to get out throughout the day, eating meals, and exercising outdoors are all awesome ways to accumulate the biological benefits from nature. Oh, and did I mention making direct contact with the earth, a practice known as grounding or earthing, also brings about mood-boosting, inflammation-reducing, stress-relieving effects. This is thought to be through the absorption of electrons which are abundant on the surface of the earth, which means that comfort you feel walking through the sand at the beach can very much be replicated by just going outside and walking barefoot on the earth. You feeling that vacation vibe yet or what? Our final stop on this staycation train is the food we eat. Like I said before, I have a feeling that this is one of those components that likely gets worse or stays the same for many vacation goers. And it may be all the other factors which bring the health benefits while on a trip. However, this is one of the most potent vibe modulators that we have. Because the foods that we eat not only become the very cells which make up our holistic self as we know it, but also provide the building blocks for the proteins, peptides, hormones, and cellular material which make those very cells operate efficiently. Bringing truth to the old adage, you are what you eat. For the sake of time, I am not going to go into detail on everything we have reviewed throughout the How to Eat playlist, but know this: the modern day Western diet feeds into and accelerates all the aforementioned health deteriorating components of the 9 to 5 work grind. And those components, poor sleep, excess stress, sedentary lifestyle, and nature deficit, feed into craving more ultra-processed junk. A true double-edged sword of disease and dysfunction. So slowly and sustainably transitioning into a diet of real, whole, high-quality foods is critical for feeling the vacation way every day. All in all, the main message here is that you are the byproduct of the environment you place yourself in. Your daily habits modulate your cellular self and thus your mood, feel, cognition, and physical function, making you in more control than you likely think, not needing to go anywhere to to feel good, because everything you need, you have, right here, right now. The secret in all this being doing the self-work to build these sustainable, repeatable, and reliable routines, which manifest as a self-renewing source of good vibes, allowing you to take a vacation without ever telling your boss. Sunglasses and flip-flops are in your court.